to be doing. Like, there is a lot of waste, fraud, and abuse within a system.
Audits and waste, fraud, and abuse are not the same thing. So let's decompose these pieces.
Then please educate me on
sure.
What
so an audit is
is
exactly what you just described,
yes.
which is, do I know what was delivered to which place?
Right.
The ability to pass an audit, or the fact that the DoD has not passed an audit, is not suggestive of waste, fraud, and abuse. That is completely false right there. So
what is
now
it
is the question of, it's suggestive that we don't have an accurate inventory that we can pull up of what we have where.
That's political commentator and longtime advocate for veterans, Jon Stewart, pressing former Deputy Defense Secretary Kathleen Hicks on wasteful government spending under the Biden administration. Welcome to Nerk News. I'm Nerkish. And it looks like Jon Stewart is going viral after Elon Musk shared this clip of him grilling a member of the Biden administration about all of the issues President Trump created Doge to fix. Here's Stewart making an overpaid and useless bureaucrat squirm by asking her one simple question: what are you doing with our money?
That is not the same as saying we can't do that because waste, fraud, and abuse has occurred.
So in my world,
yeah,
that's waste.
How is that waste?
If I give you $1 billion and you can't tell me what happened to it, that to me is wasteful. That means you are not responsible. But if you can't tell me where it went, then what am I supposed to think? And when there has been reporting, I mean, this is not, look, I'm not saying this is on you and that you caused this, but I think it's a tough argument to
I'm pretty
make
sure
that
I didn't cause it.
An $850 billion budget to an organization that can't pass an audit and tell you where that money went, like, I think most people would consider that somewhere in the realm of waste, fraud, or abuse, because they would wonder why that money isn't well accounted for. And especially when they see food insecurity on military bases, and they see...
You want to talk about that? Because that's a good... we should be talking... I mean,
well,
I'm trying to understand where you're trying to go, other than the dollars, which really bother you.
You know, that woman may not have caused any of those problems, but she certainly didn't help and embodies all of the things that contributed to it. I mean, I can't think of a better representation for everything wrong in the government than this type of person. She makes six figures to smugly avoid responsibility, talk in circles, and attempt to justify her department's incompetence by deflecting to a level of expertise that's apparently just outside of Stewart's comprehension. Notice how she keeps dismissively laughing as if it's so absurd of him to even bring up this type of question. Because at the end of the day, the only thing managerial elite care about is sustaining their own power and comfort.
I think it doesn't really bother me. I think it's all connected.
Okay.
I think
tell me that story. Tell me how you're thinking about that.
When I see a State Department get a certain amount of money and a military budget be 10 times that, and I see a struggle within government to get people like more basic services, and then that department that got that, I mean, we got out of 20 years of war and the Pentagon got a $50 billion raise. Like, that's shocking to me. Now, I may not understand exactly the ins and outs and the incredible magic of an audit, but I'm a human being who lives on the earth and can't figure out how $850 billion to a department means that the rank and file still have to be on food stamps. Like, to me, that's corruption. I'm sorry. And if that blows your mind, and if you think like that's like a crazy agenda for me to have, I really think that that's institutional thinking, and that it's not looking at the day-to-day reality of the people that you call the greatest fighting force in the world. So I get back to this idea of like, I'm not looking to pick a fight with you, but I am surprised at that the reaction to these questions are, you don't know what an audit is, bucko. Like, that's just weird to me.
Okay.
Remember this the next time some pretend journalist tries to get you to shed tears for these people losing their jobs. I mean, I'm sure there are tons of hardworking rank and file employees in the government, but I bet you there's even more useless ones like this not doing anything remotely productive. It's absolutely hilarious how insane her line of reasoning is during this whole Q&A, but it's also indicative of the government in general and what Doge is dealing with on a day-to-day basis. Just take a look at the double standards at work in her logic. Apparently, it's okay if the government doesn't keep records or fails an audit, because for some reason that doesn't indicate waste, fraud, or corruption to them. But that's certainly not the mindset they apply to you or I during tax time. In fact, the same administration that this woman worked for infamously hired 85,000 IRS agents to make sure of that. Anyone with two eyes could see that Stewart was 100% correct during this whole thing. I mean, after all, if you hired someone to do a job and they kept asking for more money with zero evidence of how it's being spent, it's only natural to assume that they might be doing something shady, which is obviously the case with our bloated and corrupt bureaucracy. But let me know what you think. Will Elon and Doge be able to actually fix the out-of-control spending and corruption rampant in the government? Or are they inevitably fighting a losing battle? Let me know in the comments, and if you enjoyed this video, please give it a like and subscribe to the channel. That stuff really does help us out. Until then, this has been Nerk News. Thanks for watching. Bye.